And that friend stole her boyfriend. And from then, she knows she'll always be alone. Speaking with someone the other day who is going through a really rough time, and it's not self-inflicted, but it's the fear of living alone or being alone, although this person is alone. I'm wondering if there are many or even one person out there that I can reach, that I can give some help to about living alone and to be fearful. This young woman in her 30s, late 30s, told me her biggest fear is living alone as she is now, but living alone as she ages. And she said she's in a dark place right now. And that worried me. Not so much she has a fear of living alone now and in the future, but saying she's in a dark place. What is that? I thought. And what can I do to take her from that dark place and bring her to a little bit of light? And what I know for sure, it has to be broken for the light to shine through. Where there is darkness, the window has to have a crack. The door has to have a crack so that the light shines through. And the crack can hurt. A cracked window can cut. A cracked door can give a false pretense it's bigger and you can get squished. So how am I going to take her from that dark space she said she's in and bring her to the light? In this video, I will give you an example of what it is I did and still continue to work with her. She's better now, but she's on her way to mend. It meant talking with her about the fear of being alone. She lives alone and she's afraid that she will end up living alone for the end of her life. She doesn't want a roommate. She wants companionship. And she said, even when I get that, I push them away. Not so much a lover, but friends. Friends that she could spend time with, go on a vacation with, go to dinner with, have over for dinner, and go on a walk, go away with, do things like that. And yet she shies away from it. So I had to find out what it is that did that. And then she went and she said a long time ago she had a friend, and she also had a boyfriend. And that friend stole her boyfriend. And from then, she knows she'll always be alone. And that is scary. But then it created another situation. She does not trust anyone in her space. And yet she has the fear. So what I know for sure, it's only when it's broken that you can fix it. It's only when you admit that the window has a crack that the light will show through. It's only when the clouds part that the sun will shine. So giving her that amount of tenacity and courage to stand up and realize you can be alone in person, but you do not have to be alone in your mind. There are worlds out there that you can venture in first through your thinking. And she said, well, that's when the darkness comes. That's when the dark comes. I said, well, you can visualize what you're looking for, manifest how you want to live in the future with others around you, friends and family, and people you love. She said, that's when the darkness takes over. That's when the darkness brings me to tears. And then I do things I shouldn't do. I start to drink alcohol too much. And no, I know I shouldn't. But when I am alone and I decide I'm going to work on opening myself to be with others, I am afraid that they would crush my heart, my soul, my very essence again and again. And because of that, I sit in my darkness, I brood, and I decide I am going to be alone for the rest of my life. At first I thought it was a lover type of alone. She said, no, that would be nice, but it's the others, because it was my girlfriend that stole my lover. If I didn't have the others, I would still have my lover today. So I'm going to tell you what we had to do to bring her to a point where she's almost on her way to accepting that, hey, it's okay to be alone. It does not always have to be dark. Hold on. If you're looking for someone to be a speaker at any of your events that you're planning, get in touch with me. My email address is right here, and you can contact me, and I would love to give you more about making life choices to you or any of the topic on living a fulfilled life. Have a great day. So we have to face the elephant in the room. We have to see the monster as it is. And the monster was, she went to dark places when she let her mind wander. So there I had to teach her to replace some of the small dark thoughts with some more positive thoughts, with a beginning of what if. So I asked her, what are your smallest thoughts? The ones you do not like, the ones you believe that's going to harm you, the ones that brings you dark. She said, living alone and always alone at night, coming home from work and coming straight home and being alone. I am even afraid to get a pet. So I'm really alone. I do not believe I have what it takes to nurture a pet. So I do not do that. I used to love cats and dogs growing up. But as someone told me, maybe if I had a dog and I took it walking, I would meet others that are doing the same. And my thought goes, what if they hurt you? What if they don't like you? What if they think you're so old and you have no husband? You're so old and you're still working? So I said, okay, what about you meet somebody there who also does have no husband and has a dog and likes to walk their dogs away from that spot somewhere else, and you can make friends and go once a week. But what about when they get to know me, they don't like me? So what I said, let's flip it. What about when you get to know them, you don't like them? Well, I never think of me not liking others. I always think of people not liking me. So I said, why is that? Because I was told since I was growing up, I was not a likable, cuddly baby. And I was always cold and distant. And my nose was always in a book. And that if I do not raise my nose from a book, I will never get companion. And if I do, when they get to know me, they'll go with somebody else. I heard that all through my teenage years. And then it happened. I said it only happened because you believe it. So I had to give her some affirmations to say. I am worthy of companionship. I am a good and loyal friend. I respect friendship. I give my best to those I'm friends with, and I accept the best from them. I see everyone as complete as I am complete. I do not need somebody to make me feel complete. I will meet people that feel like me on the journey called life. So she is using those. 1 week later, so a few days later, I don't even know anymore, she called to say, these affirmations are really working. I'm feeling a little better. But just as I feel better, the dark comes. These affirmations won't stick. So I said, okay, when that happens, remember the negative affirmations from childhood has stuck. And you're 40 now, right? So it took all that time to stick. Give these new affirmations some time to replace those old affirmations that tells you all the negative things. Use your new affirmation every time an old affirmation comes. Take your new affirmation and crack it so the light can shine through. Say your new affirmation with vitality and energy so the light will shine through. and it will destroy that old affirmation from your childhood. She used one strong affirmation. I was born to be loved, and I can love. I am a good and loyal friend. And she said, that one works for me. I feel a lot better. And she said, I just sit and I do that. I picture the mirror is cracked, and I picture the glass is cracked, and I can see the new me emerging, enjoying being me. I do not go dark anymore when I go into my mind. I can see the crack, and out of the crack, I pull the positive affirmations, and I am feeling better. What about you? If you need to try it, listen to this video again. And remember, it's only when it's broken that the light will shine through. When you break the glass, it's going to hurt. It might cut, but it's because it's broken. You can see that the light will shine through. Have a great and amazing day. Thank you for listening.